Greetings! Welcome to the devlog for hot dogs, horseshoes, and hand grenades. We're going to start off as always with a quick sound check. Make sure your speakers aren't up too high. Wonderful. So what have we got for you this week? Well, we have a continuation of adding new features and functionality to our Sosig friends here. And this week that takes the form of giving them a new ability, which is the ability to use specially made grenades just for them. So to go with this, we've actually got a bunch more Sosig guns as well. So let's take a look at those first, and then we'll talk about grenades and take them on over to our team fight area and watch our Sosig friends blow themselves up. So in terms of the new Sosig weapons, we now have a nice little snub-nose revolver here. Nice poppy sound. I love it. Look at it. Look at how teeny it is. Oh, that's great. We've got a more magnum-y pistol here, which this is firing, I believe this is firing a 50 AE tracer, and this is firing 357. Woot! Poppy. So much fun. We've got a very shrunk down chibi AA-12, which is firing sort of a reduced power buckshot. I nerfed it a little bit because in early testing, having a semi-auto buck shotgun with the Sosigs was a little over the top. So here we go. So you can think of it as, it probably is firing something much closer to like 20 gauge buck instead of 12. But that's there. And then we have, and I know some of you are just going to be like, are you serious? We have got a Sosig gun version of the M60 here, firing a smaller amount. This has a 50 round capacity and very light recoil. So yeah, so you will now encounter Sosigs that can lay down some pretty intense squad automatic fire. Anyway, let's actually look at. Let me move some of these things down here. We've got some grenades. They've got a Sosig frag here. Now, a thing to understand about these grenades is they're a little simpler than the ones that are built for the player, and that's for physics and performance reasons, to make sure that there can still be several dozen agents running around with one of these on their belt without it being a performance disaster. And so the pin is a little bit more like you just click here and it just sort of falls off, like boop, like that. You gotta just shake it away. But they otherwise work as you would expect. So there's our frag. Boom! Here is our flash. The Sosig one just has one pin, unlike ours, which has two. Same concept. Hwah! Oof. Oof. Man, that is bright and a vibe. We've got a smoke. Wah! Like so. Still don't know why it sometimes shoots like one of the bubbles out real intense, but anyway. And we've got a new type, which there is not a player version of, really. I mean, we've got the Molotov, but this is an incendiary grenade, and I'm going to try to not light myself on fire with it. Ha! Boom! So it has an initial burst of flame, and then it has a sort of static burning sort of section that'll be there for like, I don't know, I think it's like 15-20 seconds. So yeah, so those are our new toys for our meaty minions. So let's run on over here. Dush, dush, dush. And a little change now. The team size for the two Sosig teams can now be set to 0. So if you want to say set yourself to Team Shot Dogs, which is this side of the arena, and just have you fight against Sosigs, you can now do so without a teammate getting in your way. I know a lot of you like to either set up like a defense encampment there, or just stand in the center with some swords and go at people. But yeah, so just to add a little more flexibility for you folks using the scene, I'm going to set this to, like 3x3, and I'm going to mainly hang back at first and hope we can watch them throwing their grenades. In general, they try to use them intelligently, meaning that there's a near and a far range that a Sosig might pull a grenade out from its backpack and you'll see it sort of holding it, and there it's trying to make sure that it can get a good throw off. So I'm actually doing some like ballistic calculation. They can still flub it. They're not perfect. Some of them may even team flash and things like that. Anyway, let's watch them do their thing. I think I'll pull out, I'll pull out 2 handguns there. Whoops, that one's got a flash. Let's see if we can follow along and take some cover and watch him. Pull your nade out. Ooh, did he throw it? Oh! And the first Sosig team flashes me. Ooh, that one got proper blown up. Let's try to use one of these.
Jumbo side.
Oh man. Ooh, that's glitched. That should not be floating in the air. Ooh, good. We got some smoke for cover. Oh gosh.
Let's check this out.
Gotta watch out for him. Oh, my aim is just terrible.
Go for the eyes.
Oh,
Combo. It gives.
no, I wonder if I can just pass one of them. Oh, look at that. Run around and re-equip your buddies here. Come on, take one. There you go.
What's going on over here?
Throw him. Do it. Oh, he's throwing that one. Oh, nicely done. Good job, buddy. Trying not to get shot while helping him out. You got a grenade on you? They'll only hold one. Oh, no, don't shoot me. I'm your friend. Here, take one. Do it. Pick it up. Oh, he's been freaked out. Ah! Doing a bad job of supporting my buddies here. Oh, stick on these is really intense. There we go. Too much fun. Lay down some smoke. Could have thrown that one better, Anton. Well done. So there you have it. Well, let's get out of harm's way.
Put him down. You want fries with me?
And disable. So yeah, so that is the additions for this week. Right now, I didn't get a chance to like add individual spawning buttons for the new Sosig guns. There is one of each of them over in the room over there, and I will fix this later. And that was absolutely me hitting my controller on a box. Anyway, and eventually I'm going to add some options on the panel here so that you can select grenade armament type. Right now, every single Sosig is spawned with a grenade at spawn, which might be a bit too many, but I wanted to have it defaulted to that so you folks can tell me if it's a little too grenade spammy or not. Anywho, let's jump out of VR and talk about what's coming up next.
Yo! Well, you know what they say, it isn't a day in the life of a VR user without punching something in your in or near your tracked range while playing. Youch! That's a plastic shelf there was what was on the receiving end of my accidental ire. Ah, it stings. Anyway, in addition to the stuff that I worked on this week, I have basically decided to rearrange a little bit of my priorities in terms of which mode is getting love before which mode. In part because of the AI work that I need to get done and fully locked in and make sure that things work enough. I basically started doing some experiments in a rework for Taken Hold because I needed to make sure that these new Sosigs and their AI and the way that they fight worked in those types of hallways in a defense situation as much as they did in, say, the team fight area or outdoors in the Kappa Coliseum. And throughout that process, I realized I wanted to do more than just like slap the sort of weld the Sosigs into it, especially given that it really is probably the most commonly played formal game mode in the game, and it's one that people really, really like. So with that, with that in effect and going through my head, I basically have decided to push the Rotwieners module, the next one, to occur after I do a take and hold sort of polish up and rework. So I'm going to focus on that over the next 4 to 6 weeks instead, as I do the final sort of polishing work on the Sosig AIs. In part, it'll actually probably end up taking less time in terms of total execution time. And as I said, I will, by the end of that process, I will be confident that the Sosigs, from a functionality standpoint, are the agent model that I will use from now on for anything that's sort of like, I guess you could say, giant sentient hot dog sized. So yeah, if you've been following my intermittent streaming, you'll know more about this. Link below, by the way. But the last stream that I did, I actually went over in greater detail the changes that I'm going to be making to Take and Hold, both in the category of like, I'm definitely doing these, and here's some other ideas. As that gets more concrete, I will end up I'll cover that more in the devlog here, but I decided not to do that in this format yet until I've 100% decided the feature set that's going to be present. But if you want to follow along as I work that out, talk with the community, and play with various things, by all means, check out my Twitch channel. I stream about, like, what these days, now that I'm back up to it, about once a week, sometimes twice a week. So, yeah. Anywho, that is about it. Let me know how the grenading adventures go, both from a performance standpoint and just just a balance and enjoyment of gameplay standpoint. I know I've been having a blast with it. So yeah. Anywho, I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Be well, and I will talk to you next week. Peace.